that's where it started.
Hello, this is Paul.
This is Laura.
And I'm Alton.
We are Team Derringer.
And you are listening to Derringer Discoveries,
where we take you, the listener, on an adventure.
a music adventure.
From a studio in Holzminden, Germany, to a songwriting desk in Baltimore, Maryland, today we're tracking down the story of a duo called ROSEBUDTHORN. That's spelled as one word, all caps, and I'm looking at their bio on Spotify. Some songs are roses, some are buds, and some are thorns. Most are somewhere in between. ROSEBUDTHORN are two independent artists collaborating across 5 time zones. That's right, 5 time zones, and they are now a full-fledged duo, or should I say band.
That's right, listeners. We've got Katie Tich and UAP here to tell us how they turned their Transatlantic collaboration into a new musical identity.
Alton, UAP, doesn't UAP go by another name as well?
He does, but I'll let him pronounce it for you.
Rainer Aschemeier.
Rainer Aschemeier.
And Paul, to you, that's Dr. Rainer Aschemeier.
Oh, because you have some degrees, designations, degrees?
A PhD.
I have a PhD that's long ago. It doesn't have anything to do with music. So, but if you want to call me doctor, you could.
Well, once you're a PhD, you're always a PhD. From central Maryland to the middle of Germany, ROSEBUDTHORN is proof that great music has no borders. Both artists joining us today independently have significant catalogs on Spotify, each of their own. But now, ROSEBUDTHORN's catalog is starting to grow, and we, here at Team Derringer, we can't wait to dive into their journey, their transatlantic collaboration, and their music.
Katie, you've been with us before, and I really can't believe it's been almost 2 years since you were last here.
I know, right?
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back.
Good to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on. It's always a pleasure to be on with the Derringers, and I always appreciate your time, and I always have so much fun with you guys.
Well, you're too kind. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm an indie folk pop kind of singer-songwriter from Baltimore, as you said, and I just kind of go with the flow. I go where my writing takes me. I go where the collaborations take me and where I get good vibes. And I've been having a good year so far with my singles and with collaboration with Rainer.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Listeners, Katie was featured in the post-episode bonus segment of episode 25, where we highlighted Lord Huron. She joined us again for episode 53, the Turnip Music Radio Best of 2023. Now, UAP, this is your first time on Derringer Discoveries, and it's a treat to have you. So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here. It's an honor for me to be on the Derringer podcast for the first time. I'm Rainer from Holzminden in Germany. I'm a musician and producer active in both synthwave, retrowave, and rock. And I'm also host of the podcast Let's Talk Synth Seriously.
Let's talk synth seriously.
So I'm a bit of a colleague there.
Yeah, we've been listening to your podcast, Rainer.
Oh, really?
So I hope you see some streams from America. Katie, as Alton mentioned, you've been with us twice before. I'm always afraid. Alton put this question in. I'm afraid of the answer. What keeps you coming back?
Well, hey, you guys are fun. We always have a great time on this podcast, and I always learn a lot about other people's perspectives on different musicians, everything related to our industry. And it's just a blast to talk to you guys. So I always have a really good time. I always love nerding out with fellow musicians and music lovers. So it's just a good time all around.
So, Katie, how did your journey as an indie artist lead you to crossing paths with Rainer, or as we also call him, UAP?
Yeah, so once COVID hit and I was out of school, I kind of had a lot more time on my hands and I really started digging into writing and producing more music. And I decided with having more time that I wanted to start doing more gigs and doing more work with other musicians. So I did a little bit of digging around and I found a collaboration website where you can basically just do gigs for hire. And I decided to just start doing vocals and instrumentals with some people to get connections in the industry and some experience and work on projects. And Reiner reached out to me and we were able to work on our first project together and we just clicked.
Wow. So, Reiner, when did you realize that Katie clicked with you?
Absolutely immediately, if I'm honest. I mean, it was 2022, I think, and we were working on a song called Talita, and it's actually a very long story, but I'll make it short. I ended up with hiring Katie from that website she mentioned for the female vocal track on that song, and I expected to get a main vocal track, but what I got from her were main vocals, 3 harmony vocal layers, and very unexpectedly, a flute solo.
Nice. I remember.
And so it really blew my mind, and she 110% nailed what I was looking for and even exceeded my expectations. And I thought, oh boy, I hope this lady wants to go on with collabing because I really see something special here. And yeah, we just continued ever since.
Did she triple her invoice?
No, I never over deliver and then expect payment. But he sent over the track and I just really vibed with it. Like I'll always do what my clients ask me for, but if I'm feeling it, I'll just vibe and do whatever else I feel like might help and contribute to the song and the melody. So I was really into the track. So I decided I'd just send over some more stuff if he wanted it, and he ended up loving it. So yeah, it was great all around.
You are listening to Derringer Discoveries.
This is recording artist Haley Reardon from Massachusetts. You are listening to Derringer Discoveries, a music adventure podcast.
Before we talk about their music, I would like to talk briefly about the name, ROSEBUDTHORN, all caps. It's very distinctive, and there's no spacing, so it's just one word. Reiner, can you provide some insight? Where did you and Katie come up with this name, and how long did it take before you guys agreed on it?
I mean, it was all Katie's idea, and I agreed immediately. I think it combines the words rose, which stands for the beautiful things in life, or let's say your ideal visions of what you want to achieve, and bud, which stands for the possibilities that you have to achieve what you're wishing for, and thorn, which is for the obstacles that you have to overcome to reach your goals. And for songwriting, of course, it opens up so many possibilities, because I think it really sums up in a very nice and poetic way so many aspects in everybody's life, I guess, and to me it's a perfect name for a project like ours.
It is, and what I like about it is, even though it's no spacing, you don't really need the spacing, because my eyes immediately say rose, bud, thorn. Some words, if you take out the spacing, you get something different. But here, our minds just go to the idea that there's 3 words there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of fell in my lap, honestly, because I was experimenting with some different potential name ideas for a collaboration, and it actually comes from an icebreaker game that I played when I was a kid at camp called ROSEBUDTHORN, where each person in the circle goes around and says something they're excited for, their bud, something that they are enjoying right now, their rose, and something that they're not enjoying or they're not looking forward to, which was their thorn. And as a kid, it was a really good exercise to kind of look at both, what you're not liking, what you're liking, and how to integrate that into a positive outlook moving forward. And I try to kind of approach my songwriting that way, and I think Reiner as well, with bringing in hard emotions, but also trying to come out with a positive spin and help people feel better about things. So it was that plus the combination of being very unique, and there were no other artists with that name, so it worked well for our duo.
Yeah, that's always the important part. When you think you've got a great name, then you go on Spotify and there's like 5 other bands or more with that name.
Yep. You'd be surprised how many people out there have bands named Transatlantic.
I bet. So let me see if I got this right. You guys collaborated really as independent artists for 17 songs before you decided to form ROSEBUDTHORN. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was that sounds right. I lost count because it was so many, but that does sound right. Yeah. And we had that whole album working up to the concert in 2024. So that was a chunk of songs as well.
Hey, this is DC from Kentucky, and I love Derringer Discoveries.
A little over a year ago, back in 2024, the two of you played live together for the first time, and I believe this was at Schloss Beefan Castle. Reiner, am I close?
Yeah, you're close. Schloss Beefan or Beefan Castle.
Beefan Castle, right. And this is in Germany.
Yeah.
Tell us about that performance and any standout moments that either of you or both of you had at this concert.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing right from the start. There in Beefan, in this castle, there is a group of people who run a place for the arts and cultural exchange. Also, my wife is engaged there, and my wife introduced them to my music. And you might not know that, but the area around Schloss Beefan has quite a history in electronic music. Wow. Because Cluster worked there along with Michael Rother and Brian Eno in the 1970s and 1980s. And so the Befaners decided to invite me to do this concert kind of as a tribute or a tradition to the electronic music history of that place. But I said, no way, I can't sing and play at the same time. My fingers will start to stumble. And I said, yeah, well, if Katie was here, that would be perhaps a different story. We could do the concert immediately, but that ain't possible, I suppose. And the Befaners surprised me that they said, oh, it's such a cool idea. We will support you and we will help you bring your friend over from the USA. So I went to Katie and asked her, hey, would you come over to play a concert with me in Germany in the courtyard of a Renaissance castle from the 1600s? And probably she thought I was crazy, but for some reason I think she hopped on a plane and came over. So that's what we did.
Listeners, I have some advice for you. If anyone ever gives you the opportunity to fly to Germany and perform a concert at a castle, say yes.
Absolutely. So it took no convincing whatsoever. You heard about it and on a plane you went.
I was really into it. I thought it was such a cool idea. And honestly, it's been my dream ever since I was a little kid to play a concert in a venue like that. So it was incredible.
Ciao, sono un'artista e mi chiamo Camilla Passani e sono di Roma e ascolto con gioia Derringer Discoveries da più di 2 anni. Long ago we met and lit a spark.
Your music is an incredible blend. It takes the melodic depth of indie pop and it marries it to the driving atmospheric sound of synthwave, which I believe Reiner might bring into the mix, mingled with what I would call heartland rock. Can either of you walk us through your collaborative process? Perhaps both of you could walk us through it.
Yeah, Katie, what should we say? I mean, it's pretty basic, actually. Usually one of us comes up with either a basic song idea, like a verse part or a chorus section. So we exchange that by sending each other the initial recording, and then the other one goes on to work and complement on the existing parts with instruments and vocals, also probably adding more parts like a bridge section or instrumental solo part or intro, outro, whatever. And at the end, there's a song, right?
Yeah, I feel like I like thinking about it as kind of we're two cooks that are working in the same kitchen on something, even though we're thousands of miles apart. But we kind of have this process where like one of us will start like, oh, hey, I have this idea for a new recipe, and we'll like mix a few things together, and then Ryan will come in and say, oh, yeah, what if we added like a little more salt or like some cayenne and so like some of this stuff, and then he mixes some stuff in and I try it and I say, oh, that's pretty good, but I think I could use a little bit of this, and we just keep adding to it alternately until finally we have something that we both love.
So have you ever shot the other down saying, I'm not sure I like that?
Rarely.
We have a few times. I think it's pretty rare. But usually it's not even, I don't like that idea. It's more of like, I like the idea, but I feel like if we implement it in this way, it might work better with the song, that sort of process. But really, I mean, the way we work is so simpatico that it's kind of incredible how much we're on the same wavelength, which is part of the reason we've done so many collabs.
Absolutely. I think it's so rare to have this simplicity in the working process. And it's really it clicks. It just clicks.
That's awesome. So you guys have collaborated on all these songs. You've had this concert at this medieval castle, at what point did you decide, hey, let's make this Instagram official?
Ryan, you want to take this?
Well, I mean, we have collaborated on so many songs, and we were just fed up to always write on the cover art UAP and Katie Tich or Katie Tich and UAP. It's just so cumbersome. And at one point, I asked Katie, let's just give ourselves a name, like a band or like a project of our own, you know. And so we went for ROSEBUDTHORN, and with the name also came a slight change in style, I'd say. It's not so much synthwave anymore. It's more like a bit of a more organic sound, and it's more indie folk rock now. Or what would you describe it, Katie?
Heartland rock.
Yeah, Heartland rock is a great word for it.
Yeah,
I think we both just kind of we realized that we were releasing so much together that our profiles were just basically becoming a collaboration between the two of us. So we said, you know, why don't we keep our solo projects the way they are and just have a full project dedicated solely to our collaboration so that we can really hone it and develop a unique sound.
Nice.
So is it a project, a duo, or a band, or do you just kind of not worry about it?
It's whatever you want it to be. All of the above.
And I think it would depend on the situation. If we would go to a stage and perform, suddenly it would be a band.
Yes.
Because we would have a bassist and we would have a drummer, for example. Actually, we are a duo and a studio project, and we do all the instruments ourselves. But as soon as we would go on a stage, we would be a band, for certain.
Yeah, I like that.
You are listening to Derringer Discoveries, a music adventure podcast.
Hi, this is Ellie from Paris, France. You are listening to Derringer Discoveries.
Hi, this is Patrick Oxner from the Netherlands. You are listening to Derringer Discoveries, a music adventure podcast.
Do you find that you fall into different, I hate to use the word responsibilities, but different activities when it comes to creating the music? Is somebody, one of you doing more lyrics than the other, one doing more production, one doing the different parts? I know, Katie, you're a guitarist, and Rainer, you're obviously a keyboardist. How about the bass parts and the stuff that maybe you did as independent artists? Now that you're together, does one of the other of you take any responsibility for different things?
Well, I will say Rainer is the king of bass. He has taught me so much about how to write a good bass part and how to integrate bass well into a song and not just sort of slap it in at the end, which I definitely have been guilty of in the past. So he's taught me a lot about that. But I'd say, yeah, Reiner's definitely the lead on the production. His skills are very well developed. So I like to trust him with a lot of the more end stage stuff and getting things release ready. I definitely am fond of the songwriting process, but I feel like we both have a hand in that. I think a lot of it is pretty darn collaborative in terms of just sending things back and forth. But we're pretty even in who gets the ideas and starts the process for each song.
So if I'm the king of bass, you're the king of lyrics. Absolutely. I mean, for me, I'm not a native speaker in English, you know, so when I'm trying to write lyrics in English and lyrics that should rhyme, it's pretty complicated for me still. So Katie is really absolutely so good in that, and she has such a poetic way and such a poetic language in lyrics. It's amazing.
Yeah. So, Rainer, are you a multi-instrumentalist? I know Katie is. I've seen her play multiple instruments. How about you, other than keyboards? Do you play bass, or do you write the bass parts on the synth?
I do play drums. I'm a drummer, also in a band. And I play keyboards. And bass is just... I can't play bass guitar. But bass lines, I think they are so central to a song. If you change a bass line under chords, you can lead the song in a completely different direction. So bass, to me, is really the heart of a song. I always compare it to the bass is like the guy who takes you by the hand and shows you around in a song. And it can really lead you to different directions. So bass is just a... Yeah, it's close to me for some reason.
A cool example of that process is we're working on a Christmas song for this year right now. So keep a lookout for that when it comes out soon. But I wrote a guitar part for it, and it was very open. I love suspended chords. I love the open kind of acoustic vibe. And so I sent him that track, and he did such an amazing job of anchoring it down with a bass line in a way that I think is quintessential to how we combine our sounds. So yeah, that's really cool.
And I'll keep it close wherever I go.
it's funny about the Christmas song, because I notice every band is doing that now. It's becoming every band must have a Christmas song. I always think about Paul McCartney. Yeah. He had the wonderful Christmas Time song. Every Christmas it comes back. It becomes one of his top 5 streaming songs.
Simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
And then it just disappears again until next Christmas.
Yeah.
We are the German-American indie pop duo ROSEBUDTHORN. You are listening to Derringer Discoveries,
a music adventure podcast.
We'll dive deeper into ROSEBUDTHORN's catalog in just a moment, but first, let's talk about the incredible independent catalogs that both Katie and Reiner have established before they came together as part of ROSEBUDTHORN.
Katie, we've featured several of your songs on the podcast in the past, and we hear how you've grown as an artist and a producer over the years. One of your recent releases from your solo catalog is a song called Crossfire.
I got caught in the crossfire. Yeah, I got caught in the crossfire.
And I can tell you the cover for that song was definitely fire.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I've been trying to experiment more with putting more personal touches on my art. So
yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thanks. Fantastic cover. So tell us about the song and how it came about.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked me if it's about a personal experience. And I will say, having been a teenage girl, I think everybody's gone through an experience like that. But I think everybody, not just teenage girls, but everybody's gone through experiences where they're caught between two sides that are fighting. And it's such a ubiquitous mood that I was taking a walk, and a lot of my ideas for songs come when I'm on these long walks. I go on so many long walks, and they're really helpful for my process. And the hook popped in my head when I was walking just out of nowhere. Like sometimes I don't know where it comes from, but it just sort of happens to me. And that I got caught in the crossfire. Yeah. So that just got in my head, and I was just spinning it around and toying around with it. And so I built the whole song kind of around that. I came home and I wrote out that guitar part, which is usually my second move. Once I have some lyrics, I try to create a guitar structure. And yeah, I just built the song around that. I really wanted the percussion to be that sort of the feel of you're just playing percussion like on your legs or something like that. Like it's really improv, and it feels soft and acoustic, but also driving. So yeah, I built the song around that, and it's been pretty well received. So I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I got caught in the crossfire. Tried to keep walking on the wire. And I got caught in the crossfire.
That's a snippet of Crossfire. Before we move on to Reiner, Katie, I would like to talk about the follow-up to Crossfire. Can you tell us about that song? Because I'm finding the title quite interesting.
My life's just late nights and stress dreams about unresolved trauma and old group chat text.
Yeah, so I have a single called Stress Dreams out on November 14th, and it's definitely more of a push into my indie folk genre that I'm trying to expand on. It's very acoustic guitar based. It's got some cone in there, which I'm really excited for. I'm doing more work on songs that feel reflective, I think, with just where I am in life at sort of a quarter life turning point from childhood to later adulthood, and trying to figure out how to make that transition go. I've been doing a lot of reflecting kind of in my personal life, and just kind of taking stock of where I am and where we are as a society, and trying to make music that really reflects that and gives people encouragement, because I feel like there's just a lot of negativity around, no matter where you look or who you listen to or what kind of spheres you are involved in. There's just a lot of negativity, and I feel like acknowledging that and not trying to ignore it and be happy-go-lucky, but also trying to give people some hope is a good path through that. So I've been trying to focus on songs that address that. And I think everybody's a little stressed right now for any number of reasons. There's tons of stuff going on in the world. And I want this song to be kind of a note of saying, I see you. I feel that. We're all stressed, and we can come together and bond over it and make each other happier.
It's strange because I don't even think that I...
Listeners, that's a snippet of Katie Tich's latest single. It's called Stress Dreams. And you can find Stress Dreams and Crossfire, as well as her other catalog, under her name, Katie Tich. Tich is spelled T-I-C-H, and she's on all the digital streaming platforms. So whatever you listen to, you will find her. Now, let's move on to Reiner. Reiner, you also have an incredible back catalog under UAP. And one of the things I noted was that you released just recently a motion picture soundtrack for Caligari. Am I saying it right, Reiner? Caligari?
I think so, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Reiner, you got to tell us about the film and the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a silent movie from 1920. It's called Das Kabinett des Dr. Caligari. People say it's one of the most influential movies of all time. I always say it's actually film history's first mystery thriller, because there is a crime story mixed up with supernatural elements, and there is also a story twist in the end. Quite modern, actually. And this silent movie never had a fixed soundtrack, and so it came that many people composed a new soundtrack for this film. For example, John Zorn, or also Karl Bartos from Kraftwerk. And for me, it was always a dream to write a full soundtrack for a silent movie, to, let's say, to try how it works, to have a really old silent movie with a modern day synth soundtrack, and how it works and how the aesthetics comes about. And so that's what I did. 71 minutes of music. I worked one entire year on the project, and as a highlight, we had a public film screening on Halloween this year, also in Schloss Bevern. And it was awesome. 30 people were there. We had a little project cinema there. We had an official license for showing the film. Good sound there. It was amazing. And it was, let's say, a highlight for me to have this dream fulfilled after so many years.
You are listening to Derringer Discoveries.
With listeners in more than 30 countries.
In addition to doing this movie, you have been extremely busy this year. I've noticed that you're collaborating with a handful of artists. You've released an EP called Find Me with Color Theory. You've released a single called Space Again with Mikotron or Mikotron.
Mikotron, yeah.
And you've even released one with a guest that had been on our show previously, Ann Tilley, and that song is called How Loud Is No Sound.
How loud is no sound?
You know, I just like doing collabs and getting creative with fellow musicians. Brian, aka Color Theory, is a years-long friend of mine. I mean, can you believe it? Since almost 5 years, we're emailing each other every day, except the weekends. Just chatting about music production and stuff. So I guess it's only been a matter of time when we decided to have a collab on a song. The one with Mikotron called Space Again is unfortunately a very sad story, because 3 months after we released the song, Mike unfortunately passed away. And we didn't know that he was so ill. And it's still quite a shock for me, because we planned on recording more, and we actually wanted to record another song in January. But I can end on a happy note with saying that my collab with Ann Tilley was my most successful track of the year for me. And Tilley and I, we had so much fun together, and we're also planning for more. So, I think there will be more collabs coming up. And of course, we have the regular collab with Katie. And I just enjoy to work with other artists and to merge styles and blend styles.
Hello listeners, this is Ann Tilley from Prague, Czechia. I listen to Derringer Discoveries, a music adventure podcast.
皆さん、音楽冒険ポッドキャストの Derringer Discoveries を
Both Reiner and Alton mentioned Ann Tilley, and that's an ampersand. Is that an ampersand?
Yeah.
She's a listener of Derringer Discoveries. She's from the Czech Republic, so hopefully Ann Tilly, if you're listening, you'll shoot us a comment. But what's interesting, Ann Tilly actually came to Virginia when she was in America, and she visited with Laura Alton and myself. So we actually got to meet her in person.
She's just also such a great songwriter, and of course she has a very unique voice. And I think that was the really interesting thing to have my music mixed with her absolutely unique vocal style. And so that was kind of an appealing combination there.
Ann Tilly was featured in episode 57 of Derringer Discoveries. After you listen to this episode, you might want to go check out the episode with Ann Tilly. Alton, I'll turn it back over to you.
Rainer, is there a signature song of yours that you would like to share with our listeners that reflects your style as an independent artist as UAP?
Well, I guess that clearly has to be City Be Your Monster because it's got more than 270,000 streams on the various digital platforms. I got so many comments from listeners on that song specifically, and I can safely say it's the UAP signature tune, and there's also Katie with me in the chorus on that one.
Excellent.
Today's still here, tomorrow gone, switching to LA time zone, but it's a long way.
So this is a great example probably, especially for this show when we are both together here.
Listeners, that's a snippet of City Be Your Monster featuring UAP and Katie, but they're listing themselves individually as they kind of were talking about they were doing this as UAP and Katie, and then they became ROSEBUDTHORN.
Speaking of ROSEBUDTHORN.
Yes, speaking of ROSEBUDTHORN, Rainer, you and Katie, your most recent single as of the recording of this episode is one that Alton and I have fallen in love with, and we listened to it a lot. It's called Reflection.
I miss the days when there were answers to questions on my mind. Who am I? Tell me why.
This song blends your two styles together into a creation that lands you right in the middle of the 2025 indie pop scene.
And I really like the way you each got a verse. So that, to me, shows the collaboration. You came together, super tasteful harmonies. I think both of you were singing harmonies, switching off back and forth with that.
We prefer our cruel disguise. Makes us feel we've reached perfection. Reached perfection.
And, you know, the mixing of indie acoustic guitars with the moody synth. It makes the song quite unique, and yet it still is indie pop. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Addison from Fort Worth, Texas. We are all listening to Derringer Discoveries, a music adventure podcast.
Katie and Rainer, as we look at the year 2026, which will be coming up very shortly, what is next for ROSEBUDTHORN?
I hope we will be meet again in person next year. That would be
absolutely.
That would
be. Who's going where?
Well, this time I think I'm about to go to the US.
Fantastic.
It will be my first time in the USA, so fingers crossed everything works out as we want. I'm very excited about that because this time we're not going there for a concert, but hopefully we'll have the chance to have a songwriting session. Because I mean, imagine we've worked on songs for 3 years now, and so far we never had the chance to be just in one room and write a song, like in real time, like everybody else does. And that is something that I really would like to try out with Katie, and I hope we can manage to realize that next year.
Yeah, I'm really hopeful for that too, and I am so excited to just hole up in a room for a week and churn out some really cool tracks, because I think once we get rid of the barriers that are, some of the barriers at least, that are preventing us from doing instant songwriting, you know, the time change and the communication over the internet and all that stuff, I think once we get past all that and we can just do the music together, I think that'll be a really amazing feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and when you do, please let us know. Katie is within driving distance of Derringer Discoveries, so you're only a few hours away. Yeah. So if you can carve out a few hours for us, we'd love to catch up with you when you come over.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can come have a special visit with you guys. That'd be super fun.
That would be awesome.
We could show you our recording studio. We could also show you our coffee house. Just putting that out there.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I'm all about that.
Then you also have a Hammond B3. That would be cool.
Reiner, it would be remiss if we didn't give you one more opportunity. You mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but we thought you might want to mention your podcast again. We are podcasters, and we do respect other podcasters. So would you give a plug for your podcast? Tell our listeners where they can go to hear it and what it's called.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. Let's Talk Synth Seriously is a podcast where I like to invite interesting people from the synthesizer-driven music scene. That's always how I put it in the introduction. Those can be musicians or producers, or even once I had the CEO of a software plugin company among my guests. So there's a broad variety of guests there. My most notable guest probably was Mark Stanway, the keyboarder from the legendary British rock band Magnum, with international success in the 80s and 90s.
I saw them in concert, Reiner.
Oh, really?
They opened for, I kid you not, they opened for the Electric Light Orchestra. I saw them together.
Great, yeah. I mean, Mark Stanway was always one of my favorite keyboardists of all time, and it was such an honor to have Mark Stanway on my podcast and ask him all about his setup he had with Magnum and talk about all these old synthesizers and how he used them on stage. It's such an exciting episode. So if your listeners are really into synth stories like that, that's the episode to discover there.
Well, before we wrap up this episode, as our listeners know, Katie Tich is already an honorary Derringer. She has been an honorary Derringer for quite a while. Although she wasn't made one initially, because we didn't have that idea when she initially came on, but later on we made her an honorary Derringer.
It's retroactive, right?
It's retroactive. Absolutely. We consider Katie the first honorary Derringer.
Oh, I'm honored.
Reiner, now that you've been on our show, we are now able to make you an honorary Derringer. Whenever you're trying to elude the authorities, you can call yourself Reiner Derringer.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's an honor for me. I've never been a Derringer before, but I thank you all for having me and my friend Katie on the show. It's really an honor. And I like your podcast because it's always so varied and always very, very interesting music themes. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us on. This has been wonderful. It's so good to be back.
Yeah. So Katie and Reiner, also known as UAP, do you have any shout outs for friends or family? Katie, you first.
I mean, I think I just want to shout out anybody who's ever listened to any of my songs, even if you didn't like it. I appreciate you listening to it. Shout out to, my family, my parents. They were always really supportive, so thank you for them. Shout out to the Derringers for having me on for a third time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Reiner for being the best collab partner ever. Also, shout out to Color Theory, Brian Hazard, for working with me on the production for my recent set of songs, and he's been fantastic to work with, so definitely check out Color Theory and his stuff. And shout out to my upcoming single, Stress Dreams, November 14th. So I look forward to hearing everyone's thoughts on that.
Yeah. Reiner, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, Katie already mentioned a few people whom I would also thank. But I would really say thank you for everybody who supported us over the years. First and foremost, all listeners who are streaming and buying our music. We have a CD album on Bandcamp, in case you didn't know so far. And music is never a one-way road. It's made for people. And so I would really like to thank everybody who supports human artists and go to their concerts and buy their albums and care. So amazing that there are people who do that. Yeah, thank you.
All right, listeners, make sure you hit up the show notes for this episode. Waiting for you there, we've got links to the music from UAP, Katie Tich, and their collaboration, ROSEBUDTHORN. You'll also find the link to UAP's podcasts, Let's Talk Synth Seriously. You can also find the socials for UAP, Katie Tich, and ROSEBUDTHORN so you can keep up with what they're doing. So go check out the show notes, give these artists a follow, and show them some love.
This has been Derringer Discoveries, a music adventure podcast. Song snippets were used in this episode to aid in the discussion, critique, and analysis of the songs. We encourage listeners to check out the artists that we discussed today, and that includes UAP, Katie Tich, and their joint effort, ROSEBUDTHORN.
And listeners, you can follow Derringer Discoveries on social media. We're DerringerDiscoveries.com on Blue Sky, Derringer Discoveries on Facebook, and Derringer Pod on Instagram, X, and Threads. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and then head over to our website, DerringerDiscoveries.com, to sign up for our free newsletter.
Until next time, Laura Derringer is with us in spirit. She will be back. I am Paul Derringer.
I'm Alton Derringer.
I'm Katie Tich, an Honorary Derringer.
And I'm UAP, a brand new Honorary Derringer.
In your sister's room. That's where it started. In your sister's
Because you have some degrees,
That's right.
designations, degrees.
A PhD.
I have a PhD that's long ago. That doesn't have anything to do with music. So, but if you want to call me doctor, you could.
Well, once you're a PhD, you're always a PhD.
Paul, you know I got my PhD.
Where'd you get yours? The University of Hard Knocks?
No, when I was in my backyard, I was using my post hole digger.
Yes, your PhD.
Sorry.
I have a PhD. Pretty hungry dog.
Well, that's good. So Reiner's probably used to this, people joking about the PhD.
And one of my favorite bass players that most people don't even know he played bass was Stephen Stills. When he did Crosby, Stills, Nash, a lot of the bass that you hear on their early albums was done by Stephen Stills, and he was their guitarist and singer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also didn't
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Go back and listen to how complex, especially on their well-known song, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. He played all the bass in that, and he really, a lot of their early stuff, he was playing bass in. It's amazing. Go back and check it out if you get a chance.
Interesting, yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So, Katie, do you have a podcast you want to plug?
Not at the moment. You know, I'll plug my episode on Reiner's podcast.
There we go.
But no, Reiner's podcast is great. And so is this one. So I'll plug this one. But if the listeners are already here, then I don't need to do that. So
Hey, we love it. We love it. We'll take all the plugs we can get.
for sure.
Until next time, Laura Derringer is with us in spirit. She'll be back. I am Paul Derringer.
I'm Alton Derringer.
Katie.
I'm Katie Derringer.
Also known as Katie Tich.
Yeah, and I'm UAP, a brand new Honorary Derringer. Honorary, is that right?
Honorary, yeah. Let's do it.
Honorary.
Let's do it one more time, guys. That was good.
Let's do it. Yeah, sorry about that.
That would be the blooper reel.